Welcome to BUB-IT, the Oddcast.
Yes, the forum for layman's term and the oddities of bigotry. Black 10.
And Plex.
Today, the prosperous perspective. Okay, so Mr. Donald Trump did a press conference not too long ago in Florida, and he's speaking about how our immigration essentially they're not armed, and the number of immigrants flooding the border, I guess, is overwhelming. He wants to know, how do you handle that? How do you deal with that? Some fuck job in the audience says, shoot him. Now, did our quote unquote president respond in dismay? Did he ridicule the comment? No, he laughs and he says, only in the panhandle can you get away with such a statement or whatever. But he said it in a assuring, in an agreeing manner. Um, I bring this up to recollect upon the last podcast we did when I was debating with Brother Plex, and his point was both sides want the same thing: marijuana legalization, prison reform, yada yada yada. My perspective on it was that they do not want prison reform. Here is why I say that: this outrageous display of inhumanity caters to my narrative and my thought process on it. Because why would a person who thinks that it's okay to joke about shooting a person fleeing here for safety, refuge, whatever the matter, want prison reform? Prison reform, I disagree. No. Prison referral, absolutely, because there is a certain capita invested in the marginalized population being in said facilities. These are not people who care about humanity unless it's directly associated with their status and their class well-being. They do not care about those who are not as financially stable, as successful as them. As far as marijuana providing uh, bigger or even a stable source of capital for a state, that is good, but it is not good when you're well invested into the synthetic drug enterprise. So ultimately, again, I digress. Uh, Rather, the right is in agreement with the left on prison reform. I still don't believe that. I still haven't seen too much online or in any news outlets to support that. But the prosperous perspective is this: we will never be as prosperous as we claim we are, as we desire to be in this nation, until we see all people as human beings. It doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter what the background or dynamic of that person's upbringing is. People, human beings. Until we see each other that way, we will never be prosperous in this great nation that we call America. It's the Oddcast, bitch. Okay, greetings, Earthlings, broadcasting from nowhere to anybody. This is BUB-IT, the Oddcast. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Today
yeah.
is May what today is? The 10th?
It's
I
the
should
10th.
know. It's my goddamn nickname. Yeah, the 10th, 2019. I'm your boy, Principal Black 10 Hype.
And I'm Big Plex.
And we grateful to be here for yet another session of fuckery and layman speaking.
Oh, the
Um,
fuckery.
yeah, so today I want to talk to you about a few things. I want to talk about what we left off at on the last podcast. Do we want true democracy? Do we want freedom of speech, or does it just sound good on the fucking menu? Secondly, I would like to talk about uh, this Tommy Lauren chick, if there's time for that, or if anybody even cares, you'll let me know. If you like, yeah, then we can, yeah, and skip over that. Thirdly, I'd like to address the the uh, the music situation that we're going through with all the deaths in hip hop, and just the more growing and growing popularity as the genre gets. Are there things that we can do to make us a more sophisticated, even not that we're not sophisticated, but you know what I mean, a more structured, loving genre of music as opposed to the shit that we always had. uh Once again, I want to open with this. Let's get her out the way right now. This Tommy Lauren chick, right? So the young brother Jordan Lucas, talented MC. Where is he from? Do you know where he's from?
He from some small place and shit. I don't remember.
Is it Midwest? Probably something
It's like
Midwestish.
Midwest. I want to say Michigan or something like that. I'm drawing a blank. Let me hold on. Let me bub it real quick, and I'll tell you exactly where he's from.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Wichita. It's just something that you don't hear too often.
Yeah, it's like
But
some weird ass name. No disrespect
well,
to his.
yeah, it's not weird. It's just something that's not. People don't really boom
uh,
out of that place. Is what
yeah.
it is.
He's from Worcester,
Okay, and when is
M.A.,
that? Oh, so
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, Worcester, Massachusetts. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we've had rappers out of Boston before, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
over in
Yeah.
that area. So okay, well, the
Never from
brother's
Worcester,
talented.
but that's good. I may be pronunciating it wrong, but y'all get the gist.
Yeah, okay, yeah, pretty much. The brother's talented.
Yeah,
The
he's
brother's
dope. He's pretty
dope,
dope.
dope, dope ass lyricist. Like is always the case. We've laughed about this for years because I complain, the things that people really gravitate to for these artists is never really the shit that sits on my heart and I really gravitate because he got all kinds of dope ass tracks out there. I'm sorry, it's depressing, but it's dope. I like how he put it together. My favorite song by the brother, and he's done great ones since then, is still Backwards. Backwards is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Backwards
yeah,
is
that is a
insane
ridiculous
how he flipped
ass
that.
song. Yeah,
Backwards is fucking ridiculous. But point being, the song Devil's Work. So dope song. I like the song.
dope song, dope concept. I
Everything
the
about it dope.
video is dope. I like how he shot. Only thing I didn't like about the video per se was the
Uh-huh.
use of white Jesus. But I
Oh,
understand. But I
okay.
understand.
But a brother got a white mama, so hey, yeah, that's neither here nor there. Somebody in the bloodline is white, but
I don't care about
it,
that. It's just the white
yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
Maybe I mean my point is maybe that isn't really that important to him. I don't know. I didn't really. I saw that, but I didn't really linger on that. What I like mostly about this cat, this is one of those artists that are like the brother J. Cole. That see they could put a song out and you know they
Come on
you
now,
can
bub it out.
hear the message. Well, I'm smoking and drinking, relax. You know what I'm saying? You can hear the message without a visual. I think you made that statement to me.
Oh
That's
yeah,
I,
that's when
I,
you're
I
a
like
dope
that. Like,
lyricist.
yeah, you can hear the message without there being a visual. Um, Whereas Childish Gambino, beautiful visual, and This Is America and everything. But you were right. I didn't think about that like that until you said it. If I didn't see the visual, I'd be like, "Oh, I like this beat, this catchy," but I really wouldn't pick up on what exactly if that is supposed to be that deep.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I would know that there's a play on the black shenanigan and the black lingo or whatever. You know
Exploits
what
and
I'm
all
saying?
that stuff. Yeah,
It wouldn't be too hard for me to sit down and be like, oh, he's trying to say something with this, but the visual magnified it more, as it were. You feel what
yeah,
I'm
because
saying?
it completely played to the lyrics, the
Hmm.
way it was shot and filmed, and just the intro sequence with him busting that pose and shooting dude in the head. That was
Yeah.
the shock value that got you really watching that video because you didn't expect that, especially from the artist Childish Gambino. You know,
Okay.
but
Okay.
so that was the shock value that brought you in, and then once you saw that, you like, okay, I got to see what else this video is about, and then you see all these different things happen, like when you have the shooting of the church choir, and
Right.
how they protect each gun, and all the chaos and that's going on
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah.
So it led to all these other aspects that people were trying to decipher and try and figure out what he's saying in this message, but visually, not
Right.
so much lyrically. You know, excuse
Right.
me, and it just made the song much bigger. But if you just were to listen to the song without the video, it is a catchy tune. The hook, with the chanting in the background is dope.
Mhm.
The way it was produced was dope. I mean, it was dope production work on that, and his vocals and the lyrics that he applied to that track, it fit, everything fit, but you could tell that the song was supposed to be accompanied by a visual representation. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. 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 And this is one of the things, going back to my original point that I like about Joyner Lucas. I don't need a visual to I can close my eyes and go where somewhere near. It may not be exact because I don't know the brother. I never met him. I'm not there when he's creating.
Mm-hmm.
But he can. I can go somewhere in the area, in the vicinity, by just listening to what he's saying.
Yeah, he's painting a
So,
picture.
point being, you know, the medium glass of leche. You know what I'm saying? Of lactose. Uh, 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 took some anger point or perturbed issue with him speaking death, I guess, on her or calling for her death, as it was said. I didn't read. I don't Twitter, so I didn't read how it was actually put. But she took some umbrage with that, and I don't have a problem with that per se. I understand because I might feel well. Actually, that's not true. I don't give a fuck. My fuck off my death. I'm gonna be like, shit. I agree. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But I can understand. Here's the thing. The point that he's making is, I think the point that he's making is good people who are actually loving, embracing of all things and about all people, and trying to really invoke a change that would be suitable and possibly livable, a decent life quality for everybody, are dying at an alarming rate. And then hate mongers are left behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People
yeah,
who are
yeah.
one sided, people who have they constantly say shit like, well, I don't see color and I'm not a racist and I want this and that for everybody. But you endorse, you lobby for, and you present policies that directly affect people that are not of your class, standing, religious, or political belief. Uh, it puts them at a disadvantage. And it's a reoccurring thing. It's a reoccurring thing with these individuals on the right. And I know people listen and be like, "Oh, there's some leftists." No, I'm not a left. Only left thing about me is I love Crips, nigga. I don't. All that other shit, I'm not in that. I'm not in the right or the left and none of that shit. I don't care about none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? The point is, it's obvious that you people have a bias and you want to continue this this practice of the playing field not being even. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I don't have the day or the true history on where when the first gun or the first gun-like contraption was made, but I'm almost certain it was made out of, let's have this advantage so I don't have to fight you head up, man to man, one on one fade, your sword, your shield, my shield.
like they
I
used to
can
do.
eradicate you without as much bloodshed. Wise, wise in the name of being superior, wise in the name of being victorious with less cost of life on your side. Wise, but it is a level of thinking that it's like, I really want you out of here and out of the way, but I don't really want to get my hands as dirty as it would normally take if the playing field was equal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I, I've come from, I'm some kind of better than you, or That's always been in this country. The whites or the Aryans, the Anglo-Saxons are, for the most part, we're above those of color. That's the truth about America historically. There are still and always will be those who love the system in place how it is because it caters to that thinking and that lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So so I went and I found an article on Double XL about that whole situation with him and her,
Okay.
and it looks like from Double XL that she wants to sit down. She sent him a DM and she wants to sit down and have a conversation with him on or off camera.
Yeah.
Um, and he replied back to her. Let me just bring that back up real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Said something to the effect, I wonder how, oh, here it is right here. I wonder how this conversation is going to go at Tommy Lauren, and added a shrug emoji.
Yeah. Because he know. These people, look, I can't put that on the right no more than I could put that on the left, just being fair. Other than cats like, the Breakfast Club, I get them their props. Hot 97, Big Boy. So there there are more liberal minded platforms out there, Trevor Noah, that gracefully and graciously accepts what would you call it? Visitors from an opposite idea of them
Yeah.
onto their platform and give them a fair say and a fair debate. It really does seem like, and there's video because I know anybody on the right to be like, no, that's not true. It's on fucking video. It's an ambush every time. It's uncordial every time. It's nasty. And me being from the ghettos of Los Angeles, man, we call that coward shit.
Yeah.
That's when the motherfucker know that you got a big army or a military force, i.e. the police, that's gonna run into your defense. So now you talk big shit. But if I had your ass in the back of this motherfucking yard, just me and you and the partners, yo, you wouldn't have that same energy.
Ain't that
Not
what?
everybody is like that,
Ain't,
but majority of
ain't that what happened with Tupac and Juice when he got hemmed up?
them.
They were like he was kind of not really trying to do nothing, and then what happened? He saw his boys, uh, and all of a sudden he got amplified and transformed and
Yeah,
was
yeah.
wolfing
He got
tickets.
hard. He got hard. He got
Yeah.
hard. Basically, went hard. No, at New York Pause. At the New York Pause. He got tough. Put it like that. He got tough.
He was
I
ready to
said New
represent
York
the
Pause.
set.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically, you know what I mean. The same thing happened with Laura Ingram. If I'm wrong, if it wasn't her, forgive me. I believe it was Laura Ingram and D.L. Hughley. You know what I'm saying? Uh, these people, they really want you to come on, and of course they're gonna act like, oh yeah, well, you're welcome to come. And then as soon as the cameras roll, they want to feed you to the conservative sharks, as it were, because they're looking for you to come out of pocket. They're looking for you to come out of character or whatever, and so they can say, see, look, the left, they're this, they're that, the libs, they're this, they're that. Now, I'm neither leftist or liberal. I'm definitely not people have told me that I'm liberal because I really don't give a fuck about certain things. I guess that's the accepted perspective of what a liberal is. I don't give a fuck about gay people getting married. I don't. I don't. Why would I care about that? I don't even see where that's fucking important and worthy
Of
of
a
the piece of
conversation.
paper. Yeah, a conversation
Why?
worthy of the paper it takes to write out a bill. It's just stupid. You're making a policy about a person's personal life, what they do with their time, who they love, and who they enjoy.
Exactly.
I
I don't give a shit. Two shits.
Yeah, I don't. I've historically, I mean, since we were younger men, 17 even, up into all our life, you've heard me say, I don't condone or condemn that lifestyle.
That's what they want to do. That's what they do.
Exactly. And that's my way of saying, but you've also seen people get offended when I say to condone. Oh, well, see, you saying you don't condone. I said condone or condemn. Here's the thing. I am not a homosexual. I never will be a homosexual. I've never been a homosexual. I don't understand that thinking. I don't give a fuck about that thinking. I'm not interested in that thinking. Now, that being said, I have had one time that I'm not ashamed of. I'm not proud of either. I remember being out with Fats Nino,
Uh-huh.
and I forget what we were doing. We were driving somewhere downtown Long Beach and seen a couple of dudes from a distance. They looked G'd up, you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
501s
Yeah, yeah,
creased.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
as they
yeah.
get close, I think I told you about this, right?
I
And
don't
then you
think
can see
so.
the glittery the glittery, what do you call that shit? Bedazzled shirts. I shared this with one of the brothers, one of the
No,
tribals.
I've never heard this story before.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
okay,
heard
so
about the bedazzled
okay,
gangsters that you
w-
ran into
yeah. So
in
let me
Long
let me
Beach.
so let me so let me learn you. So let me learn you the history of this ignorant interaction right quick. Very ignorant, and it was very fucking ignorant. Like I said, not ashamed, but not proud of. I don't know what I would. I'm not. It's something that I would never do again. So
Okay.
you see the bedazzle, which you know the young cats they wear that shit. You know, glittery. They wear pink shit that we weren't into when we were young. So that didn't say nothing. Coming up to the light, you realize these is two dudes. One's kind of thugged out. One's kind of dressed how they do these days with the now later starburst array of colors on his clothing, the hoodie and the shoes,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and they're holding hands, and he's switching, and one is obviously some kind of his demeanor is very what we would call hood street. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And they walking across the street downtown Long Beach, and they holding hands. I I'm buzzed. I done had some Hennessy. I done smoked a couple blunts wherever we was at. We might have been at Black Yay spot or something. I don't know, but we was somewhere getting faded and going back to the house. Uh, and the dude had and I scream out the window. I see the dude had his hand in the dude's back pocket. So I scream out the window like, "You bitch ass nigga dressed like a gangster and shit. You was a punk. Get your punk ass off the some hateful, horrible, horrible shit that now that I am ashamed of in the sense that it came out my mouth like that because number one, why?
Yeah.
And I mean I was
Yeah.
very young. I was
Yeah.
very young. I was in my mid early 20s, you know what I'm saying? Very young. But why?
Yeah.
They walking across the goddamn street. They minding their business. They're not harming anybody. Why was that necessary? And I'm in the motherfucker. I got the high top blue chucks on. I got the blue 501s on, creased up. You know, Fats. He got Harlem 30 Crip on his face. Fuck, and then not a tattoo, just his facial expression say Harlem 30 Crip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just unnecessary. And I say that I tell you that story, and I remember right after that, not even two lights down, he said it like them niggas gave him up. I said, yeah, but you know what, my nigga, I was wrong for that shit, love. Like that shit was stupid. That
Yeah.
shit. And he was like, yeah, he couldn't disagree, my nigga. He
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
he had to admit that that was some bullshit. Because
Yeah.
I had to admit that was some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, I had to think to myself, like, do I even really care about that shit, my nigga? No, I don't. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
So
So
why?
my
Yeah.
partner tells me, so what, then you're a liberal. You think that they should? I said, no, I don't like that. I'm not no fucking liberal, left, nothing, none of that shit. That shit just don't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Why do we give a fuck? Uh, well, if you allow the gays to get married, it's gonna change the meaning of marriage. No, it's not, nigga. No, it's not.
Who said
No,
that?
it's not. I mean, that's just the argument that
No,
I
I
would
know,
hear.
but I'm saying like it's
Exactly,
rhetorical. Like who said that?
yeah, like who it changes the definition. No, it don't change nothing.
No.
It don't change nothing. You know, the only thing that it does is this motherfucking man over here looking at another boy butt, and I'm looking at a female ass. That's it. But he doing what he like, and I'm doing what I like. That's it. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's not that I'm a liberal. I don't really give a fuck when people say that I'm a liberal no more than I give a fuck when people call me racist. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
don't.
then the
I don't.
shit's
I don't think you're liberal. I think, to be honest with you, I think you're conservative with liberal views on certain things.
okay. Break down that for me, please, because that's interesting. Break that down for me.
Because I think you're conservative in the aspect that you see things, but because you got that I don't give a fuck mentality, that fuck it,
Yeah.
that's the liberal side. But I don't think you're liberal. I think you walk that fine line in between.
Okay.
You know, you get
Hey,
what I'm saying? Like some
let me,
things
you
you're
know,
conservative on, some things you're not conservative on, some things you have a liberal point of view on. But I don't see to me that's the problem with politics in general, with that whole, you know, liberal or right wing, or that to me is bullshit. You know, to
Yeah.
me it's really bullshit. It's like you're basically saying that, to me what you're saying is you can't expand and evolve from these core set of rules that you given yourself, even if you realize later in life as you mature that they're wrong, or that they really are minuscule and don't really matter or weigh any or have any weight in society whatsoever. So like you're
Right, right,
saying, like you're saying, gay marriage, you have no dog in that fight. You don't care whether they do or don't, but if they
right.
want to, they should have the right to do it. Like all the rest of
Absolutely.
us, if they want to enjoy it,
Absolutely.
they can enjoy it just like everybody else. Who gives a fuck?
Absolutely.
So
We joined by my daughter, by the way, my oldest daughter, my baby bear. Her name's Dayla. Say what's up, baby. Hi.
what up?
And I brought that up. I brought that up because my youngest daughter texted me and said, that would be a subject, something interesting to speak on, and I agree. Uh, and my point in the matter is, there's really nothing that you can do to make me understand why that is worthy of being something to fucking vote about, my nigga. Like,
Exactly.
who cares? I don't care. Okay, cocaine brought a detriment scenario to the black community all
Correct.
over America, not
Correct.
just the ghettos of
Just America.
California,
Period.
America, period.
Mm-hmm.
We now know that there was a plot to infuse that shit into our community. Unfortunately, we bit the bait. Let's keep it a stack.
All
We
the way
bit the
across
bait.
America.
Yeah, we
But
bit
we
the
were
bait.
set up to fail to begin with when we had
Yeah,
no other
and
option.
that's what I was speaking of earlier, but we did take the bait. Let's be real.
Correct. Correct.
So if you say, I can't wait to get home and get in the house, close my door, because I'm gonna grab that pipe and I'm gonna blast off on the biggest rock you ever seen.
Mm.
It's not my business.
Jumbos, baby.
Jumbos, you know what I'm saying? It's not my fucking business. So why would I care about a homosexual being married, woman or man?
Yeah.
And then there's a bias there because most men, most of us have even experienced or lusted after a two woman on one scenario. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Which can be considered that kind of category. Brothers have ran when we were younger. It was a thing to run the train and all that stuff with the
Mm-hmm.
homie, tag team on a girl who was down or whatever. Kind of scenario. Not that you yourself or me myself was involving ourselves with the guy, but if you want to look at that like that, I guess you kind of could. Like, hey, it's two for one of the same sex. What do y'all do? Y'all naked? Y'all doing doing
Mm-hmm.
shit? So. Uh, that's not the same thing at all. I'm not saying that, but
You talking
if
about a
somebody
devil's
wants
three
to,
way?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? If they want to put that stigma on it, they could. So I guess when people say, I never heard that before, you're a conservative, I still struggle. I understand what conservative, okay, keep your ass covered in public. That makes sense to me. Is that conservative? I heard that's a conservative
That is a
point of view.
conservative point of view.
Okay. Do your best to abide by the laws and regulations of the land that you live in. That's a conservative, even though I don't condone a lot of the laws, I don't respect or agree
Yeah,
with a
but you're
lot of
not gonna
a
just break
lot
them
of them.
just to because
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
can. You're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
I mean, a
why?
nigga might run a red light.
That's
You know what I'm
different.
saying? We were smoking weed
That's
before it was
different.
legal. But
Who
murder
didn't?
since I mean this and that's I have a problem with that too. Like murder. Okay, if you can finesse your way into my household, meaning harm to my loved ones, your ass is out of here if the Most High choose me,
Oh,
or
like
you
that
got to go.
situation with
Oh, I'm
Bub
out of
B.
here.
You talk about you
Yeah, yeah,
speaking of?
well, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out to Bun B though. Fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
And I love my people. And he might be a misguided brother. He might be a struggling brother.
Oh well.
I don't know what the situation was. Excuse me, that caused that man to be in that situation. But I'm not for a motherfucker opposing on nobody's uh private place of dwelling and
My
their
thing is
family.
like this: if I didn't invite you into my house, my dwelling, you come in
You ain't
armed
supposed
to
to.
the teeth. I
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
you ready, cause I
Your
am.
ass, your ass is out of here.
Yeah, I hope
And
you
see,
ready,
I'm
cause
a
I am.
felon. I'm a felon because I can't carry guns and shit. But I mean, I don't believe in that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't have one. And wink. You know what I'm saying? but
Allegedly.
allegedly, I'm going to I'm going to do whatever the fuck I need to do to make sure my daughters are not violated, their mother is not violated, my sons are not violated. You're not coming in anything that I'm working hard to build forcefully
And try to take it.
and, and demanding nothing. My
Yeah.
life, my property, nothing.
Yeah.
So
My
going back to
air
what we were
that's in
originally
my
speaking
house.
on, yeah, exactly.
A cold drink of water.
Yeah, going back to what we were speaking on, the conservative and liberal thing. I've heard this. I don't consider myself none of that shit. It's interesting that you said you feel that I'm a conservative with certain liberal ideas, and I'm a ghetto dude. I'm from the ghettos of Los Angeles, just like you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Compton Watts, stand up.
But understand,
Inglewood,
but let
stand
me
up.
cut you off real quick. Because understand that being conservative does not mean that you're Republican.
Oh wait, okay. Well then, they're good. I definitely am not that. Not
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm not
democratic. I'm
saying
not that.
that's because you have conservative Democrats, you have conservative liberals, you have conservative
Right,
Republicans. Being
right.
conservative does not mean that you're one way or the other. It just means that most of your views are more in line conservatively. That you
Okay,
know you walk a certain you have certain standards that you walk by, and in
right.
certain things that you feel that aren't really important enough to have even a discussion about, like what you're saying, the topic of gay marriage. That's a
Right,
liberal aspect, but that doesn't
right.
mean that you're liberal. That just
And
means
that
that,
wasn't one of the original subjects, but my
yeah,
daughter texted me, and I was like, that's interesting. So I kind of
well, yeah,
imposed on what I said we were
because
going to originally talk about
because
with that. And I want to ask her. My daughter asked me a question. She asked me, "Do I think it's right or wrong?" Go ahead, baby. You ask the question.
My question was more, do you feel like gayness or being gay is starting to be taught to the children? Because I was reading an article and there's a 11-year-old governor. She's the first kid governor, and she came out as lesbian.
She's a governor.
Well, she's a kid governor. She's not really in the office with them,
Okay.
but it's one of those little things they do
Okay.
for the youth.
Okay.
And one of the things that made her popular on her platform was supporting the LGBTQ. And I feel like there's a lot of gay stuff going on with people way younger than me.
Right.
She's 11 years old and she says that she's lesbian. Now, I'm not saying she's not, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff being shown on TVs and books and on social media, and I feel like it's starting to be something that people are just saying they're gay.
Okay.
I don't think she's at the age level. It is my opinion though,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like she's at the age level to just say,
That's what it is.
yeah.
Now let me ask you. Now you having certain experiences. You know this your Uncle Plex. This is all out. This ain't no censored shit. Everything on the table. You got to be who you are and tell the truth on this thing. Because I throw myself on the bus a lot, and I plan to continue to be in it. I got bus tire marks all over me. I don't give a fuck.
I am roadkill.
What is your exactly? What is your experience with that?
My
My
experience. Oh,
experience
okay.
I mean, if you're comfortable to say it.
I okay, I do identify as bisexual,
Okay.
but I feel like that was something that was influenced, not what was in the household though.
Yeah.
Not in the
You don't have to
household.
let them know. They know. They know.
But
Do you
you
feel
know,
that you
school.
are ostracized from your family because of it?
No.
As far as okay, good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But there's a lot of people are way more. I'm happy that the LGBTQ are getting some type of a voice.
I just wish y'all had so many letters, elemental Q and all that. Go ahead.
They have a voice and they're starting to be heard.
Right.
But now I feel like it's becoming a little
trendy.
Yeah.
Stylish.
I feel like it's becoming more of a. I feel like it's kind of starting to get forced onto people as well, because as soon as you turn on the TV, if you're not seeing a black boy getting killed, you're seeing something gay, or you're seeing something about how gay rights and this and that. And even though at this age, at 18, I identify as bisexual, I wasn't 11
Right.
saying I like girls and boys. I
Okay.
wasn't 12.
Now let me stop you right there. Initially, the question was, Flex, what, do you feel that that's right? Is that, am I right?
No,
Right?
the initial question was, do you feel like it's starting to be uh too much,
Overwhelming. Okay.
overwhelming?
Plexus?
All right, let's decongest this.
Don't
So,
get politically correct now, nigga.
oh, I'm not gonna get politically correct. I'm gonna speak how it comes out. You know, that's how we bub it.
Yeah, the bub it. Bub it.
So, me, all right. One thing, I really don't watch television per se. I do watch television, but most of my stuff is from streaming. I don't watch regular television. So
Right.
I'm like Netflix, Hulu, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as you know, pushing a homosexual agenda, I think yes and no, that is the case because I think because television is programming and
Right.
it's programming to make people more acceptable and enduring to um, the gay the gay situation, you know,
Right.
whatever you want to call it, you know,
Yeah.
just to make people just to make people more accepting of it, you know what I mean? uh Me myself, I never really had a problem with you know a gay lifestyle that people chose. That's, you know, if that's what they wanted to do, that's what they wanted to do. I don't judge people on their sexuality. You know, that's just how it is. Now, do I think that they're pushing it now? They could be. They very well could be. I mean, but I don't really know because I don't really watch television like that. So I
Right.
couldn't really answer that question 100% because of that. You know,
Or could it be
I
that it's more accepted? I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. Could it be
uh-huh.
that it's such so that it's accepted in such a way now that individuals is just like, fuck it. Now it's our time to have a cartoon because they got a cartoon like that on Netflix. I haven't seen it, but they tell you right in the in the
Mm-hmm.
description that that's what it is. Uh, it is on TV more. It does seem like every single advertisement for every single product uh, has some form of homosexual interaction. Not saying I have a problem with it. I just noticed that it's there. And I wonder if that's because they are now out and accepted, which I think is great. You remember we grew up
Mm-hmm.
in the download time, we used to complain about that. We used to say back then we didn't give a fuck because you'd be like, I just wish the niggas would just say I'm gay and be out there.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
because, but not for nothing weird, just like even when we were younger, we were like, that
Just
gotta be fucked up
just
to
come
have
out.
those feelings. You know what I'm saying? To have those feelings, but don't feel like you can openly be yourself. I used to
Yeah.
feel bad for motherfuckers like that back then, like, but there was more ignorance behind it back
Yeah.
then, more violence towards them back then.
Like I said,
So,
it's like I said, it's social programming. Television is social programming. So of course they're gonna go after the youth first because they're more impressionable
right,
uh, to help make being gay more acceptable,
right,
and you know you're not going to bash somebody or
right.
you know cause a
Well,
hate
see,
crime
the, what,
because they're gay, you know.
yeah, but the
Now,
violence towards it is ignorant anyway. That's
regard yeah
just
that, but I'm
neither
just
here. The
saying,
violence
I'm
towards
saying
it is
that's
ignorant anyway.
because I mean look at, you gotta, I'll give a fair example. Look at the big tobacco companies when we were growing up. A lot of that shit
Exactly.
was geared and advertised directly to us. Why? Because we were the next potential people that were going to be smokers, and I smoke cigarettes.
Right.
You know,
Right, right.
so
So it's
again,
marketing, and
it's
that's the
social
point.
programming.
It's social programming, it's marketing.
Hmm.
I think that with it being more acceptable, which, like I said, fuck it, let the people live their lives anyway. So it should be accepted anyway. You don't have to accept it in your household if that's not what you're about. I don't accept it in my household. It's not allowed in my household. But at the same time, when my daughter came to me and her mother and said, this is what I'm experiencing," her mother didn't say, "Oh, you couldn't come over there and live in her mother's apartment because you're this." I didn't say you can't come over here and live at my house because you're doing this. No, I don't believe in ostracizing my child because they're pursuing their own happiness.
Yeah.
So I think that because it's accepted more, it's out more, it's more transparent. That's a vote. Put it
But
like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a vote. Just like so brother Obama, whether that's been his core belief or not, the brother Corey Holcomb makes fun of him a lot, when he was marching the parade with it. Barack Obama's Corey Holcomb calls him gay. So I disagree. The man, I don't think the man is gay. I just think, he might be liberal minded, like, who cares about that shit? Number one, it's not that serious. Support those people, leave those people alone. And yeah, he's getting that vote. I believe that. Yeah, this is more votes for me. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
he's
Put
got a
it on,
job to do.
put it on, put it on. But it is like, to my daughter's point, it is becoming overwhelming to the point of
It's
it's
becoming
almost
trendy.
like you can't say nothing about it. Oh, you said a gay joke. Motherfucker Eddie Murphy said a gay joke in Delirious, and that shit was hilarious.
But
You know what
you
I'm
know,
saying?
you got to also look at the times of these things too. I mean,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
when when
Look,
well,
I know what you mean,
you know,
but fuck
well, hear
that
what I'm
shit.
saying. Hear what I'm saying. You know, like when Eddie Murphy made the joke in Delirious and Raw about homosexuality. I mean, it was at a time where it was laughed at and joked about, and people were still getting bashed. Nowadays, if you try to do that, we live in a different time where
Right.
people are gonna say you're not being compassionate. You know, you're
Yeah,
just bullying, and I get that because they have a point. You know,
yeah,
we
yeah.
should
Look,
have
the
we should have
thing,
evolved from that time to now. You know, as
brother,
humans.
brother, we should have been evolved. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I hate most about this? People act like Alexander the Great isn't known to be noted to be a fucking homosexual. We act like homosexual fell out the sky
Well, that's what
40
they had
years ago.
gymnasiums for.
Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover, the rest in piss. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that motherfucker who labeled my ancestors, my predecessors, the Black Panther Party as terrorists, just like that fucking glass of milk Tommy Lauren did. Okay, when we were getting beat, hung, bit by dogs in our own fucking community, said we're going to stand up for ourselves, we're going to bear arms and not allow this shit, we're going to feed with what do you call that, with contributions to the cause. They would save the money and feed people, free breakfast, free lunch programs, things in our community. That we were attacked, and they call the Black Panther Party a fucking terrorist group today. The Black Panthers wasn't no fucking terrorist group.
No,
You see
the
what I'm
Klan
saying?
is.
J. Edgar Hoover
The Klan
spoke
is.
out against homosexuality. J. Edgar Hoover, he spoke out against the Klan too, I believe. He
Nah.
spoke out against the mafia.
Yeah, but
He
here's the
spoke out
thing. Here's the
against. He
thing.
spoke out against the Barrel Gang and the bootleggers
Yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah,
gangsters
yeah.
back then.
But
But
none
he
of
was
he.
a fucking homosexual. So why does the mainstream corporate and let's be blunt, white America put that on the main out there like that? They made a movie about it. Leo DiCaprio. I'm not the biggest Leonardo DiCaprio fan, but he did an excellent job with that movie.
He did an excellent job in Django too.
Yeah, he did. Nigga. Where they said, how many times they say nigger, it was hilarious.
I don't give a
I was,
shit. That
he did.
entire movie was excellent.
But my point is, this man spoke out against homosexuality in his
Yeah,
time, and he was
but,
homosexual.
but the thing about the Klan and versus the Panthers, still to this day, nobody has deemed them a terrorist organization like they did the
I don't like
Panthers.
to hear that word with that group. I take it personal. I know nobody here. They haven't been nationally deemed as a terrorist organization. You're right. But the fact that these fucking Peckerwood, racist ass, bigot ass Peckerwoods can put that name in their mouth as a way to ostracize and villainize something when villainize a organization that was set in place to protect their own. There's
Yeah.
always this thing in this country about villainizing people to protect themselves against a system that's put in place to have them at a disadvantage. But we never want to address the fucking initial disadvantage.
My main reason for asking the question was because, like he said, kids are impressionable,
Hmm.
and I'm starting to see it take a toll on the black community as well.
Hmm.
And it's already hard enough being black in America.
That's right, man. Good way to get us back on track. Go ahead.
But being black in America and being gay,
Yeah.
It makes it harder for our people, and I feel like people are starting to look at it more as a let's all be gay to support them instead of let's just support them without having to turn
Mm.
gay. I feel like people are trying to show how much they support the gay community by saying, now I'm gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Because I
good way
want
to
you
look
guys
at
to
it.
feel like, I want you guys to feel comfortable. I want you guys to feel like you're
Well,
accepted.
you know your daddy ain't gonna ever do that, right?
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Be a punk on your own time, and then God bless you, and punk on. But I ain't finna jump in the Fruit Loop ball with you just to do it. I'm gonna say, be happy, wave your flag, do what you want to do. But yeah, that
Hey,
shit's
so
different.
I want to run this back real quick about. I got a story about you and a transsexual.
About me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. That's interesting. I don't remember that. I don't like how that sounds, but go ahead.
It ain't nothing sexual. Ain't nothing sexual.
I know it ain't, nigga. I ain't heard about it at all. But go ahead.
So we were. I forgot how old we were. We were probably like in our late teens, maybe early 20s at the latest. But I
Okay.
think we were more like 18, 19.
Okay.
Um, you had to do some GR work. That's when GR was really popping,
Yeah. Right.
and you had to cutlass. We was together,
Yeah.
and you had to go and do your GR in the morning. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll roll with you. I'm just gonna crash in the car while you
Yeah.
do your thing." You said it was gonna be like an hour, 2 hours. I was like, "Yeah, that's cool."
All right.
So we go to Santa Monica Boulevard to find this park. And you go and do your thing. You say
Oh yeah.
you
Go
said
ahead.
you you
Go
said,
ahead.
"Oh, I met this broad. She's fucking bad. This and that." I was like, "Oh yeah, all right,
Yeah.
cool, all right, whatever." Yeah, and I think I even told you like, "You sure that was a girl? Because look where we at." And you were like, "Yeah, that was a girl. That was she was straight up." So go back to the Casa Grande,
Mhm.
you know, and we chilling, doing our thing,
Right.
and she hit you on the hip. That's when everybody had pagers. So she hit you on the
Yeah.
hip. And you was like, "Oh,
Uh.
this that bitch from earlier." And I was like, "What?" You were like, "Yeah,
Uh.
remember the one at the park?" I was like, "All right, whatever," because I never saw her.
Yeah.
And I guess you started talking to her. You called her back, started talking to her on the phone,
Yeah.
and she told you she was a pre-op, and you didn't know what a pre-op was at that
Yeah.
time.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the details. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'll never forget it because it was hilarious for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got off the phone feeling good, feeling yourself, and I was like, "What happened?" And you told me, it was good conversation, blah blah blah. She wanted to hook up and hang out and that type of thing. We're like, all right. And he was like, but she told me she was a pre-op, and I looked at you. I was like, oh nigga, that's a man. And he was like,
Oh
what?
man.
I said, yeah, pre-op. That means pre-operation. She's still swinging with a dick. And I never forget. You
Did
were
I
like,
go
"What the
off?
fuck?"
Did I go off?
You
What
went
was
off
my
for a good
reaction?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
You went off for a good 5 minutes.
Hey,
The
I'm gonna say
betrayal,
this:
the deception.
kids in America, stay away from Sherm because I remember something about that day. I absolutely forgot about that shit.
Oh, that shit
Uh,
was
uh,
hilarious. I think I
uh,
laughed at you for about
the
a whole
mind,
week.
the mind allows a nigga to forget shit, man. There's so much shit to people. You one of the main ones, and my brother tell me shit all the time, like, "Oh, nigga, you was tweaking." I really don't be remembering that shit, but that is an example of a nigga not remembering some shit. And you right, that shit is hilarious. I do remember
It was
when you
like,
said
I want to say
you
like
went to
94,
GR to do the.
95.
I had to clean up. I had to clean up the motherfucking
The park.
the park. Yeah.
We was in the Cutlass.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
original Cutlass.
Now was that GR or was that probation?
Nah, that was GR. It was
Okay,
because I was gonna do
okay.
it with you because I was like, well, what I need to do. You were telling me what to do, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it because I didn't want to clean up no fucking park.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And you was mobile,
Okay.
so you didn't give a fuck. You were like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. I can drive wherever. I mean, gas was only $1.25 at the time.
Yeah. Niggas was putting having $8 and putting 3 of them in the tank and getting down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's crazy. And then you say I went off for like 5 minutes. Was I mad as a motherfucker or was I understanding?
No, you was mad to the motherfucker motherfucker. You were. It was the deception. It was the full deception rant. I was like, and you were like,
Well,
"Are
I'll
you
tell you
serious?"
what.
You went. Let me
I
tell you. Let me
definitely
tell you
was.
like this. You went all the way from regular black to nigga to cuz
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
5 minutes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell you what. You know what that's an example of?
What's that?
That's an example to me of even it, I mean, I was younger, so okay, but and there was a more of a negative stigma put on homosexuality back then.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
and
I
I
mean,
and
it
I
was
mean
for the time.
more than that, I'm not into that lifestyle. I don't give a fuck about it, but I don't want to have nothing to do with no kind of intimate contact with no motherfucking man. That's just me. I'm not saying fuck them or that. I just don't want to have nothing to do with that. But it goes to show that not all of those people were bad, because you just said right here, I don't even remember none of that shit, but I remember the day going to the park, but all that shit transpired, I don't remember. But you said that the punk told me over the phone that he was punking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
uh,
that's what it was. My ignorant ass just didn't know what it meant. You know what I mean? But hey, the initial meeting, a motherfucker thinking it's abroad, and you're right. You know what? That goes to show how some of these niggas look better than some of these females out here visually.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they can
You
really
was
get
all
in.
into it too, and I think
Yeah,
I teased
yeah,
you for like the next 5 days about it.
yeah,
You were like,
yeah,
"Fuck
yeah, yeah,
you."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, but the motherfucker giving whoever that young man, because you was a boy, the young man was the initial meeting. The hesitation or whatever, I understand, but at least the motherfucker told me immediately on the phone, hey, this is how I'm getting down. The motherfucker, before anything went anywhere, motherfucker came real. So you got to still give that motherfucker their props. That
Yeah,
motherfucker
I give him
still
the
said
props
it.
for that, but
It
I
ain't my
still had a
fault.
good
Your ass
laugh, a
don't
good
know what
chuckle.
pre-op mean. You know what I'm saying? It ain't my fault. It ain't his fault that the motherfucker didn't know what pre-op mean. And the motherfucker probably said it to me, and I probably was so into, because I thought I was macadocious back then.
Pre-op, whatever. I'm a bub it anyway. Give me
Yeah,
them
yeah,
digits.
I busting bitches was my shit. That was the shit back then for a nigga, busting bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So the or, I'm sorry, my daughter, but she's an adult. She know I'm right. But busting young ladies was the shit.
However you want to clear it up, that
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care. You already
exactly.
said it now.
Yeah, the shit. I mean, my kids ain't no stranger to how I talk, especially when I get upset. I'm not upset now, but that's funny as hell, Black. I forgot
Oh,
all about that shit. That's
yes,
hilarious.
yes,
That is
yes.
hilarious, nigga.
Oh,
But again, at least that motherfucker back then was able to be like, look, man, I'm this. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And thank God somebody was around to be like, nigga, don't do it. Because now, to be real, back then, had I pursued that and that would have came to the light, it would have been ugly.
well, yeah, because it was the
It would have been
deception.
ugly. It would have been ugly.
It was the
And you know what?
deception.
You know how we was riding around, especially me when I could at those times. You know what was in the car?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's why I
that would
said.
have been.
That's why I said it
I
was the
would be
deception.
I would be either just now coming home and not even have my babies and not even have my. I just wasn't. I never hated that lifestyle, bro. I just don't want to be involved with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, going on with my baby's asking, do I feel it's a fad? I asked your opinion. I'm gonna say this to you. Yes, I feel a lot of it's a fad. We have a family member. I don't have that family member. So you know what I'm talking about? Permission to speak the name or whatever. So, but we
Yeah,
have a family member. Aplex has been around this family member. He knows. He don't know him, don't see him all the time, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we know. So now that this person is who they are, your mom said that to me a couple years ago. She said, "Well, this nigga was acting like a boy if you think about it, way back when." That's true, but it didn't mean nothing to me then because there was the thing we got called the tomboy, my nigga.
Uh
It's
huh.
a tomboy. My kid's mother was a tomboy all day. And you remember we used to joke, and I still get the flack for the jokes. Niggas used to say Monique look gay, as far as she could be gay when we used to say that, but not
Uh huh.
in a fun manner. We wasn't
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah. We
like,
weren't
bitch, you look,
bashing.
Monique look like a fucking girl. But we was just like how you dress, how you act. You always with the fellas. You know, you rough around the edges.
But
You fight at the drop of a dime. To us, that was very bulldaggery. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't mean nothing to me. But as time progressed and things manifest themselves to what it is, that's what it was, and that's what it is. So can a person be born this, or can a person be influenced that? I still am skeptic on how a person can be born, but not just with the gay shit. I'm talking about, I don't feel that I have the scientific knowledge and the research to say what a person can or can't be born with. But I want to say that it is both has to be possible, because a person can be born wicked.
yeah, I believe it can be both ways. I believe
Right.
you can be born that way, or you can grow into that lifestyle
I
and have
literally
that as a choice.
we literally know motherfuckers from day one that, like elementary school, they was evil little bastard. There, household was normal,
Uh
wasn't
huh.
too ghetto. Daddy wasn't missing nothing. Household was fucking normal, and this nigga was a wicked little kid, wicked when we was teenagers, and then eventually in prison for triple murder, homicide,
For
and
being
you know
wicked.
we know niggas like this. This was an evil person anyway,
Yeah.
but because we grew up around the motherfucker, it was normal to us. And then when
Yeah.
we got a certain age, it was like we went our certain ways. And you're like 20, you're like, I don't really fuck with my nigga because he kind of on some other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You
and
start
then
to
eventually look
realize
what happened.
different. You realize people's characters as you get older, and you can analyze based on your wisdom on this earth. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I
But
think it's possibly both.
I
I
believe
don't
they can be
I don't
both.
say for sure because I don't have the research, and that's not something that I research,
Yeah.
and it's not a belief or a disbelief for me. So I'm gonna say it's possible for both, but I do believe that a lot of it is influenced. And I told you the thing about, I had
Yeah.
a problem with the little. It was probably harmless, but when my son, when he was born, and somebody painted his toenails, I went off about that. Don't do that shit. And I
Yeah.
went off on my daughters about watching RuPaul Drag Race, and that's their female shit. But this, I had to let them know they didn't mean nothing by it. This boy is not even 2 years old yet, impressionable, running around. He's already been talking and smart. I don't want him looking at no motherfucking grown ass man dressing like no broad on no fucking woman on TV.
Yeah.
He's
I hear
not
you.
to see. And what did I tell y'all? That shit ain't allowed to be on in my house when I'm not here. Or did I not say that?
Yes.
It wasn't out of no hatred for them. It's don't for look. My daughter had talked to me and her mom about the experiences she was experiencing and what she was feeling. Nobody told her, "Well, you got to pack your shit, get your ass up out of there to the carpet munching train." No, it wasn't none of that shit. She know we comedians. She know we rough. We're not professional. You know, we're jokesters. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
She know we rough around the edges. She know what to take offensively and not. All my kids do, but she understood what we were saying. That shit don't fly in here. That's just not to be taught in here. And I agree with my daughter. It might be too. I was always against them teaching the shit in school because I was against them teaching about sex in school without my permission anyway. Don't talk to my kid about the reproductive organs and all that shit, and I'm not there to okay it, because you might describe that shit in a way that I disagree. You might describe that shit in a way that it doesn't happen in her or his said environment. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hear you.
So, that being that, if we can, I want to quickly segue into another thing. That was we can deep dive into that. That's ongoing conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, baby, for
But
adding that to the table.
on close
You ain't got to go. You can sit down and listen to us two old niggas talk. But thank you.
on closing with that, I would like to say I think that people can be both
Right,
born that way and grow into that. I mean, you grow into your sexuality as you get older. So who's not to say that you want to be gay, you find men attractive, or if you're a woman, you find women attractive,
right,
or you find them both attractive. I mean,
right,
you
right,
grow into your sexuality and your preference, and once you
bro.
establish what you want to be as far as sexually, I mean,
Right,
that's on you as the individual.
right.
And for me personally, I don't care what a person is, because I'm married with a wife, so
Yeah. I tell you what. I know for sure that when I wash my ass, being a black man of at least significantly of the traditional stereotype about black men. I'm proud of what I see. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
However, I'm not so proud that I'm like, that looks interesting. No.
You're not curious. That's the word you're looking
Exactly. You know
for.
what I'm saying? I look at this shit and be like, y'all some cold ass species women. I'd be like, you like that? I look like that. What the fuck? I mean, it's good that you like that because I like what you got. But at the same time, that's some ugly, horrid shit to me. You know what I'm saying? That's some I can't get behind it, but I don't knock it. I don't judge it. I've grown. I'm proud to
It's
say
just
over
not
the years.
your preference.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's
And it
just not your
shouldn't be on the
preference.
fucking bill. And it's not that it's right or wrong. And the Bible, I don't give a fuck what the Bible or the Quran said, no disrespect to neither one of those followings. My thing is, I don't have the true conviction in me. I can't say that the spirit moves me to feel. I can't say that this book that has been written that y'all tell me comes from this source because you believe it.
You don't
I
want no
can't
white
say I
Jesus.
believe that. I'm good. Come on, my nigga.
You
I
want a
don't want no
little
black
sprinkling of
Jesus,
white
no white
Jesus.
Jesus, none of that. I'm not fucking with none of that. Look, if Yeshua was a real individual, which I happen to believe is quite possible, uh, people get mad. The brother Lloyd Jamar, shout out Lloyd Jamar, he always said Jesus wasn't even real. His beliefs is belief. I don't know. For me to say that Yeshua wasn't a real person, well, then it's okay for somebody to say Hannibal wasn't a real person. And no, motherfucker, we're not talking about Hannibal the cannibal. We're talking about the original Hannibal of the Carthage people that rolled across the Spanish Alps on elephant back to in attempts to seize Rome. You understand what I'm saying? We can say so many people of historical recording was not real, which brings me to the next thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
And that
do
is.
we want freedom of speech and to display, or do we fucking not?
So you want to know, do we want William Wallace, freedom, or get
Yeah,
your head cut
yeah, sorry,
off?
that's right.
Give me
Yeah,
freedom
sorry.
or death. Well, look, as far as freedoms go in Western civilization, which is United States of America, I'm not including Europe. Um,
It's part of it, but go ahead.
yeah, that's why I said I'm not including.
Yeah,
Um, I believe that the idea of the Constitution that we go by, which allows us and gives us freedoms, the good and the bad, because we still got a 13th Amendment. We had to be written into the Constitution for us to be people.
yeah, yeah,
The good and
yeah.
the bad. I believe that the ideals of that are good, because it's telling you that you have these rights on these lands, even though this land was stolen. We all know that, and how the white man came and conquered everybody and then brought us over here to build this motherfucker. The
Right.
ideals, the words written on the paper, those core principles, I think,
Uh,
are good.
I would like to add to that conquer doesn't apply to the African transition in here.
No,
Trickery.
because we were all. I don't consider it always all trickery, because some of our own people sold us to
Yeah.
the
So
slaves. They
either
didn't.
way it
They,
go,
they
it
didn't
wasn't.
catch
They
us
didn't go
all.
to Africa and conquer Africa, cuz.
Yeah, they didn't
They
catch us
didn't go to
all.
Africa. Yeah, they didn't do that, Black. Come on. But go ahead. I'm
But that's why I
sorry. Go
said they
ahead.
didn't conquer us all. But I'm just saying, conquering in this land. I'm
Yeah.
not
Okay.
talking about worldwide. I'm talking about specifically the United States of America that we know it today to be.
Okay.
Not any other countries. And we're not talking about countries in Africa that were conquered by the Dutch and tried to do the same thing to them as they did to
Yeah.
us. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about any of that.
Right.
Just America. Those
Right.
core ideals, I believe, are good for America, but those core
Okay.
ideals may not be good for countries in the Middle East of Africa or in
Okay.
Africa. I believe each country has their own set of ideals, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. But I think the core beliefs that our Constitution allows us to have are good, what they're supposed to be. Now,
What they're supposed to be.
what man does with them is that's we're talking about something totally different. But we're talking
Yes.
about logically on the paper as written, including the good, the bad, including the 13th Amendment that gives us, like I said, permission to be a human, which I don't know why we need to have permission to be human.
Exactly. Exactly.
um those ideals, I believe those are good value systems. I mean, yeah, freedom of speech. You should be able to tell a motherfucker to fuck off and not have any repercussions other than whatever that person's action is going to be towards you after you done told them to go fuck off.
Fuck off. Yeah, exactly. It's coming.
Yeah, the right to bear arms. I believe that we should have the right to bear arms, and you should be. And if you want to take this gun from my hand, you're gonna have to pry it from my dead cold corpse.
Right.
And that particular right is because it allows the government not to take over the people forcefully, and have a coup like type of deal go on. Now, are these constant? And the Fifth Amendment, the right to not incriminate yourself in the court of law, which niggas don't do at all. They fucking 5 minutes into being interrogated, they telling you everything for a motherfucking Popeyes 2-piece and a biscuit with a tall strawberry soda.
Right. Right.
You see it on first 48. Motherfucker, they say, look, I'll give you the rest of the name, but I'm gonna need a Newport cigarette and a coffee.
Yeah, right.
You see it on the first 48. Now, niggas don't know their rights, so all the time, constantly, it's being shown that they just give up all the fucking shit, regardless if they're being labeled a snitch or not.
Right.
Know your fucking rights.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do believe that the core structure of the Constitution on how it's written and what it's supposed to be about, I believe those are now when we're talking about the United States going and disrupting other countries and trying to bring them into democracy as we see it may not be always great. It may not be right. One freedom fighter is another man's oppressor.
You're right. And okay, you know what? Resilient, how you said that, brother. Here's the thing. Okay, democracy and the Constitution is like a grand thing. There's all kind of there's different
bylaws and agreements in it.
Yeah, there's different ways to approach that when it comes to discussing that itself. My question is deriving from this, the freedom of speech thing, right?
Yeah.
There is an ongoing thing in our country that is like everybody wants to talk about. I got freedom of speech. I got freedom of speech. I got freedom of speech. I got you. Okay, we all got freedom of speech. Fine.
Yeah.
When said speech directly negates a person's core belief, it's almost like individuals are willing to either toss the whole freedom of speech out the window, or you forget that the very argument that you're presenting is based on the same freedom that this person, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
presenting, and because you disagree with that person, what that person may be saying, it should not put forth any potential reprimanding or counseling or silencing or muting of a person because whatever they're saying is directly in contradiction to what you believe or what you're saying. And people weaponize this whole freedom of speech thing, and then as soon as another person who has the same right in this soil at least is speaking in direct diverseness to what they're saying, if diverseness is a word, excuse me, I'm a little buzzed. But now all of a sudden you forget that you were just harping on the whole freedom of speech shit a few seconds ago. You know what I'm saying? You were just blabbering at the mouth about I got freedom of speech. Okay, well that person has freedom of speech too. You say you know what I mean? Donald Trump is the best. This person said Donald Trump is whack. I say, Donald Trump don't give a fuck about black people. I don't care how many suckers he gets to take a picture with, take a picture with him and fall for the okie doke. And then you say, well, Donald Trump's the best, and I'm ready to attack you because you said Donald Trump is the best. It's bullshit to me.
Well, that in particular is tribalism. Everybody wants to root for their own team.
Yeah,
that's a flaw in humanity in a whole.
Right.
But now the freedom of speech for somebody, see, the thing is, when I look at somebody trying to shut down somebody who has a legitimate freedom of speech argument, and we're not talking about these social media platforms,
No,
because
no, 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 no.
hold on, hold on,
I'm
hold on.
talking about the government. Now,
Yeah,
again, please don't
cause
get that confused.
yeah, because social media platforms is a company, and it has nothing to do with the government of the United States of America. They just operated
Right, right.
within the United
The
States
parameters of the
territory.
American. Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Now, freedom of speech. If somebody you have somebody that has freedom of speech, and you get mad because they exercising their freedom of speech, and you want to go attack them, that's because you're weak. That's how
I
I look
agree.
at it. That's
I
how you're
agree.
weak,
I agree. I agree. I
because you
agree. Look,
should, because like, okay, for instance, I don't have a problem with the Ku Klux Klan, the Aryan Nation, any of these, Black Lives Matter,
yeah,
the police unions. I don't give a shit if they want to
right,
exercise their freedom of speech and have a
right.
march and
Whatever.
speak
Yeah,
whatever agenda
yeah,
they want to speak into the microphone with. I don't
yeah.
give a shit. Because why? Because they have their right. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have the right to disagree, but I'm not going to go
Right,
and sit there and enact violence on you just because my point of view and your point of view clash. I'm
right.
just not going to listen to your rhetoric. I'm just going to go about, I'm going to bub it my own way.
And
you know,
even you deeming it rhetoric is your opinion. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So here's my thing. This is exactly my point. My thing is, like you said, it's a flaw in humanity. It's a weakness because you building some sort of verbal foundation on your freedom of speech is fine, whoever you may be. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying?
Correct.
The the fact that another person will do or endeavor to do the same thing, and that speech directly contradicts what you believe or what you're saying, inevitably melting down into some sort of violent altercation or whatever, absolutely shows weakness. And it had me thinking about it because, we see examples like this all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's fucking weak and it's sad. And it's like, okay, I'm sitting there looking at the news. I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. Do we want to adhere to this freedom of speech thing or do we fucking not? You know what I'm saying? Do we want to have, because if you want to have freedom of speech, I might have to hear a motherfucker say white power, which I don't give a fuck about white power. Of course they should have white power. I got black power tattooed on me.
Shit,
The
I may
Chicanos,
say it with you just
Chicanos
as a joke.
of Los Angeles, yeah, the Chicanos of Los Angeles walk around with brown pride.
Yeah,
Both
same
these
shit.
groups at any given time may have some sort of hate on my people for nothing more than the color of our skin. You ain't
Hmm.
ran into no black man, ain't no black man robbed you, ain't no black man did nothing to you. You just don't like me because I'm black or my people
Yeah.
because I'm black. But I
Rhetoric,
don't want to
propaganda.
silence them because that might be their disposition in life. Let the motherfucker say whatever the fuck they want to say. And believe me, people say shit to piss me off all the time, my nigga. People say shit to piss me off all the time. But I'm not so pissed off that I'm like, well, let me go get this rock and bust you upside your head. For what?
So I go to jail for
Yeah,
assault.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but I don't understand that part of it, and I understand tribalism more than most. You know this.
Yeah.
I understand the various grotesqueries of humanity more than most. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, why do we not see these evidence these evidences right in our face? And we do, brother, we do see them, but there's some kind of flaw in us that the common logic switch turns completely off. People say common sense isn't so common. Okay, fine, I hear that. Somebody coined a phrase and it sounds good, and now it floods the streets. Everybody, oh, I'm smart because I know how to say common sense isn't so common. And knock it the fuck off. There is an issue with us, that's something that is just evident and clear. Like, okay, freedom of speech. We like having the freedom of speech. Well, I don't like what he said. Don't get me wrong. I got the freedom to walk up to any female I want to and say, you a funky cock bitch, like we used to say when I was growing up.
Uh huh.
I got the freedom of speech to walk up to any man and be like, you a bitch ass nigga. Now, when they haul off and sock me in my shit, that's their reaction. I can't control their reaction.
Correct.
So with the I mean, pain, unless I just like, I'm a masochist and I like pain. I mean, the only thing I could think, the logical thing to do is, hey, keep that shit to yourself. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. That might be how I really feel. You know what I'm saying? But keep that shit to yourself. Unless that's your goal to piss people off beyond the point of common sense and when they might react with violence, then fine. If that's not the goal, okay, you think all these bitches are bitches, you think all these niggas ain't shit, okay, fine. Cool. You think all these right wingers are racist, you think all the lefts is fucking crybabies, whatever the fuck it is, fine. Find a way to say, or find the true, the correct platform. First of all, as we know, it's a place and a time for everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Riding on the train and it's crowded and you have a bias towards any kind of people might not be the place to be like, God damn, all these fucking immigrants. That might not be the place for it. You know what I'm saying?
Or it might be because you're asking to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you into pain, or you asking to whip somebody ass, either way it go, if you're asking for physical confrontation, then okay, I guess I get it. But I hate when people do these things in the not so appropriate place. You see what I'm saying? In a not so appropriate time, and then act shocked when one shoe is off and the shirt is ripped and the makeup all over the bitch face, and she done got drugged half the block down the street for talking that bullshit. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
when I say they asked for that.
Yeah.
Just like every person
Oh,
I've punched in my adult
look,
career,
look,
I've had to say, well, I don't feel any harsh regret about it because you know what? They asked for that. They
yeah, yeah.
antagonized me to that point where I had to physically put my fist on their lips.
You know, like I know, I ain't gonna say no names. I ain't trying to, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not doing it. But a certain motherfucker, I wasn't always the big motherfucker. But we remember when that shit was that, and it was with me, and then boom bop, and man, why y'all jump me? And everybody like, they know, he hit you. He did that. It was just him. Oh, you're the one you thought with the hair, the snagging teeth that you thought was gonna whoop his ass. No, that was him. We did not jump you. You know what I'm saying? You got your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Because we all could win some and we all could lose
Yeah.
some. I'm not no motherfucker to just play with recklessly out here just because I'm not the hardest. Never been to prison, the hardest crippin' and loking, and I'm not
Like
reputable. None of
I've
that shit.
always said, you gonna walk
Yeah,
over here, but it ain't an
yeah,
easy
yeah,
win. You gonna crawl
yeah,
back.
yeah. So leave people the fuck alone and let people say what they want to say. I also don't like when, because conversation is what's needed.
Yeah,
Communication is a good thing.
it's the key to life.
It is a key to life in various forms of scenarios of relationships. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
the key to
But
life to everything. It's how we communicate to learn from each other and grow and evolve. I mean, just like I learn things from you, you learn things from me. That's communication.
all the time.
You know what I
And,
mean?
and the thing is, why? Number one, the Black conscious community. I like to watch these various channels every now, streams online. The Sonatas, the Pharaohs, or whoever. You know what I'm saying? I like to see what these Brother Polite, whatever. Even Tommy Sotomayor, who
I think he's
people.
hilarious.
I think he's fucking hilarious, man. I don't agree with a lot of that shit. A lot of shit he talks to me comes off as rhetoric, but it's not that serious for me to attack this man, call him out his
I
name.
still think it's hilarious.
It's fucking it's Bosco 100 hilarious, my
Yeah.
nigga. That's the
It's on
most
the
funny.
opposite. It's the opposite
It's the
spectrum, but it's
opposite
the
side of
same thing.
yeah. Hey, look, the funniest, the most hilarious. I wish I had a way to build a petition to shoot this motherfucking nigga into stardom. This Bosco 100 nigga
Oh,
is
he's on his way.
the most funniest nigga. When I feel upset. Now I would never go on his live and comment. I'm just not that serious. I just look at the shit and watch it when it's uploaded. But I wish I had a line to support him directly. This nigga, when I'm feeling not cool, just like I like to watch a lot of things that make me feel better and escape from my little bullshit I'm dealing with. This nigga Bosco had me in tears about any fucking thing. This nigga will take any regular thing and have me dying laughing. Like, why ain't this nigga on stage saying that shit? But that probably ain't. what he wants. That probably in his format, but it's hilarious, bro.
He was a
It's
rapper.
hilarious. Oh yeah, I heard his music. His music dope. As far as gangster, you know, anything West, we gonna fuck with.
Yeah, he's a rapper.
From our lyrical Kendrick Lamar's, Ab-Souls to our Glasses Malone YG slaps. You know what I'm saying? To our
He's a rapper. Yeah, I find him when I catch him. When I catch him on his commentating, he has me dying too. When I catch him, I don't always catch him, but I when I do, I watch it. I check it out.
Oh my nigga, I be trying to go on Instagram every now and then for that to find. I don't fuck with the Instagram shit like that, but I just mostly see his shit when they get uploaded onto YouTube. And I, under the moniker Principal, I always comment on his shit. It's too fucking hilarious, son. This nigga said, mentally challenged people are it ain't verbatim. You know, what do you call that when it's not verbatim? Paraphrasing. They are not equipped to handle the dealings of a regular day. The nigga's a gangbanger from Queen Street, Inglewood. And it's hilarious how he structured his well, he's not a gangbanger no more. He's a gang member. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's moved on. He's a mature man now. But it's fucking hilarious, nigga. But point being, the freedom of speech shit, there's somebody out there that might not agree with what that man say, what the next man say, what me or you say, anybody. Why does this shit have to turn violent and angry and screaming and yelling? I listen to the Black conscious community talk. It's like a lot of their debates, you want to listen to it, but they start screaming over each other, and I cut that shit off.
Well, like I said, it's tribalism, and you know, people who don't know how to talk, and I guess, I mean, they don't not have honest discussions sometimes.
Well, there's no moderators. There's nobody with enough respect and authority in the circle to say, okay, now hold on, give them a few minutes.
Even if you don't have a moderator, just to give somebody the respect to articulate their thought and get it out, and regardless if you agree or disagree,
right.
You know, you can't get upset if that's a stage you're standing on. Now, if you're standing on a stage of you already about to be violent because both of y'all flared up and y'all about to attack each other, ain't no talking gonna stop that anyway. But if you go into a stage, and when I mean go into a stage, I'm just saying a setting, any kind of whatever. If you homies, you meet somebody, acquaintance, whatever, somebody at work, whatever. If you're going into that setting where you're gonna have a conversation, you can't have an honest conversation, then you need to just shut the fuck up and not have the conversation to begin with.
Right. I would agree.
And as far as people having their freedom of speech, I think they should have it. I think everybody has a voice and everybody should use it. Now, does that mean I need to listen to everybody's voice? Because not everybody's voice is on the up and up or on the square. As far as social media platforms and having a voice and somebody getting booted off or not getting booted off or whatever, getting blocked or getting muted, or these platforms pulling people off or whatever and whatnot, that's their right to do. It's their platform.
Yeah, man, when I heard motherfuckers talking about, I put on Facebook, you know, we have the freedom of speech. These people are being took off of here based on something they speak that's deemed hatred. And I don't remember what I said. I'll put something up there. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you don't. But somebody hit me like, yeah, my nigga, they're infringing on their freedom. I said, hold on, nigga, slow down. That's not what they're not infringing on a motherfucker. Look, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Yeah,
that's all across the board. That's those people's thing. That's those people's platform. Those people are providing.
They're allowing you to be on that platform.
Yeah, they can sue what the fuck. They can do what the fuck they want to. Yeah. I got an attitude when the motherfucker put a video on Facebook of some grown ass young adult slapping the shit out of some like little 10, 11-year-old kid, making them cry. And I put on there in my frustration, like, that motherfucker need to be killed, need his ass whooped. And Facebook gave me a message like, we don't agree with that's not, you know, our community,
our guidelines. Yeah.
And I went on there and I voiced it like, man, well then this shit shouldn't be on here, but do what you want. But in my opinion, if you don't like the speech, I don't see why I allow that kind of footage to be uploaded. Y'all not supposed to have certain shit on here anyway. I done seen whole murders performed on Facebook.
Yeah, so you're mad at me for what I said, but you're allowing the content.
But you're allowing the visual to
the content value to be up there.
But and that's fine. That's why I had to remember, like, wait a minute, why is you even really? It's just me being who I am, the rebel renegade spirit, the asshole spirit that I could be at times, my nigga. Like, don't tell me shit. I do what the fuck I want to do, basically.
Yeah.
Because when I thought about it, like, really, why are you mad? You can get on Facebook tomorrow. I don't go on Facebook. You know what made Facebook more interesting?
What's that?
You, Yayo, my sister, the few motherfuckers, fats, that talk to me on that motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
my
yeah.
little cousin, Maurice Marquise, my cousin, they go on there. I'm not Facebook friends with none of my children. I'm not Facebook friends with their mother. I'm not Facebook friends with really nobody outside those few. So really, I go every time I go on there. It might be some shit on there to make me laugh, some shit, whatever. But I'm really just getting replies from shit that from interacting with y'all. You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah. You checking in.
So I don't give a fuck enough about it to care that these. But I did the whole Compton via South Central attitude hops out of me when a motherfucker like, oh, this ain't our community. We don't, this is a warning. Man, fuck you and your warning and your platform,
But
homie. I
see,
don't,
but see
you
that
know,
then that's my problem that I have with people. Not you. I'm just saying that's my problem I have with people when they say that people getting deplatformed and stuff off of these platforms. It's like, well, if you truly want to have an open dialogue platform like a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram, a YouTube, or whatever, then we need to make our own run by the people
yeah.
and let everything
Or
go.
get on iStar like
Yeah,
Corey Holcomb Star. I'm looking into that. I want to get on Corey Holcomb platform, my nigga.
yeah.
Fuck this. We say it's free, but it ain't shit. But we at 142. Maybe we should start cutting it down a little bit. We had a good discussion.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yeah,
my
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
daughter, Sanaa.
Shout outs.
I don't know what she gonna call herself, but that's my baby bear. She kind of changed the whole narrative of what I said we was gonna talk about.
But that's
Because
fine.
as
That's
we
how
were
we bub it.
talking, we love that shit. Because she texted me, my younger daughter texted me and said, "Hey, De La said this." So I was like, fuck it. I brought it up in the subject. We start talking about it.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is go into a little thing that we call the poverty perspective at the end of it, and today I'm gonna address, piggybacking on what we were just talking about, the rights that we say we want. Historically in America, as far back as you can remember, since the beginnings of America, there's always been this idea of what is wanted by the nation, the citizens of this nation, but it has never been considered for every citizen of this nation. You dig where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
We have these things, or should I say, we have this constitution put in play, right? That we claim to love, cherish, and we adhere by it, except for when it contradicts our own contradiction of said constitution. You dig what I mean? Uh, uh, Liberty and justice for all. Wait a minute, not them niggas, not them reds, not them yellows, not them browns, but we're not brave enough to just say us whites. Now, in practice at a certain time in America, and practice today too, but more subtly, more sly, more sneaky, do they practice, oh, just for us whites. And there's always been, a lot of people have this misconception, there's always been white people in this country that wasn't with the bullshit. How they had to deal with it, I don't know. How they reconciled living day to day, knowing that they didn't feel right about how things were going, but they had to carry on. I don't know. But to this day, there are white people who are not bigots. Anybody who don't believe that, you just want to be mad. You want to have hate in your heart. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Anybody who don't believe that every single white person in America is not evil, then you're probably evil your fucking self. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like the term myself, not that it's wrong. I just don't like the term white ally. Why? Well, you're not my fucking ally. You're a human being or you're not. You're my ally when I'm getting my ass whooped. You're by the police in the street. And you step up and push that cop off me and say you're going to have to do me the same way. You're my ally when he pulled the gun down and is tense enough to feel like he might fire, and you jump in front of that bullet and say, "Look, you know what? I'm a white man, but don't kill this man because you're unjust, and kill me too." Then you might be an ally. I don't believe in an ally. You're either a human or you're not. Ally is when me and Plexus and Black Keys and Rick Rock and Khalid and Blue stood out there against the 13th, and not to offend nobody. We know who they was. We're not gonna say it right here. You know what I'm saying? But we know where we was at. We know where we was at. What Ice Cube say? Running from Venice up at where? You know what it was. Those were my allies, because we're going to have this race rumble right here. Not that it was a good thing. We didn't start it. We were being assaulted because we were black, and everybody who stood beside me, a couple of those Samoan brothers that went to Hawthorne High, those were allies. You're not an ally. You might be a human being who sees that this is wrong. So when we talk about the Constitution, and when we talk about we live by the guidelines of this Constitution, how about we actually do that shit? How about we remove these little sidebar stipulations? Oh, when you're a felon, by law, you give up the right to do this. You give up the right to vote. You give up the right to bear arms, I understand. But you give up the right to have a firearm period, so you can't even protect your family anymore.
Correct.
Created equally under God, with justice and liberty for all. Except for you, nigger. Say that. I respect it more. People would get mad when they see an individual with white power tattooed, but I got black power blasted on me. The homeboy, remember Dreamer?
Yeah.
He had brown pride. He's brown. We're not literally these colors, but these are these are hues that we associate with the ethnic demographic we place ourselves
They're
in.
the
You know what I'm
analogs.
saying? Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. So, do we believe in this Constitution, or do we not? Do you have the right to bear arms? Yes, you do. But let me put all these extra ramifications around it to make it harder for certain people to bear arms. Let me say that if you're a felon, you can't have firearms because that's going to cut down on mass shootings. But now one Crip blood or nothing has mass shot a goddamn school or anything yet. Every one of these motherfuckers that do that is either a person of color that was in the military that's sick of this shit by the police, and yes, maybe some kind of mentally unstable, or some white privileged motherfucker that was bullied at school, and now let me go kill all of y'all. But what's the reoccurring stipulation for the gun ownership? Oh, you can't have no felons, though. Oh, it don't matter that you might be spewing some kind of hateful speech online, and there's a history of it. It doesn't matter that you're some kind of alt-right misfit, or some kind of a theorist out that puts on this salacious speech online, and then coincidentally that individual ends up doing what? Mass shooting some shit. Who shot those people in Vegas? Who shot up that synagogue? It wasn't a Crip. It wasn't a Blood. It wasn't a Serenio. It wasn't a Nathaniel.
The
It
gay
wasn't none of that.
club, the church
The
in
club. Who shut
Carolina,
up the club? I mean, you tell me when I'm wrong, brother. Who shut up that club?
the club in Thousand Oaks out here where I'm at. Well, I'm
Who
not in
did it?
Thousand Oaks, but
Yeah, who did it? But who did it? Who was behind the trigger?
exactly.
Now, does this mean that every single white person in America is a sociopath and needs to have their guns? No. And I'll say this in closing to the neo-Nazi, crazy white boys, whoever that was, Charlemagne, the guy I just talked about on the Breakfast Club, the cornbread, all these white. Let me tell you something, homie. The black folks over here in our sector, we don't want your guns. We don't give a fuck about your guns. We don't want to impede on your forest. We don't want to change your thinking. We don't want to change your way of life. The only thing that me and most of my people have a problem with is when you put hands or attack my people, and you do it in a manner that is not of a warrior standards, which most of y'all are warriors. Link up, even numbers or outnumber whatever on a battlefield, and do that shit like an honorable warrior. That's the only thing we have a problem with. Don't attack my people. Leave us the fuck alone. You want to abide by the Constitution? I say leave them motherfuckers alone. Let them have a gun. I'm a felon. Okay, so you took my right to have a gun from me. Now I have to find a way to survive in this world for me and my children. Okay, I'm gonna figure that out. I wanted to go to jail for it. Thank God I've never been to prison, but if I have to go there, I'm gonna go there for it then. Been to jail plenty of times. If I have to die because of it, then it's nothing. Not that I don't care. It's just there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to submit because you want me in this position to be weak and unable to provide and protect my family. Fuck that. Do we want to live by the Constitution? Or are we going to allow the powers to be to keep making these sidebar ass laws to inhibit us from living under the true Constitution when it is beneficial to them? When they have found a loophole to make it to where the marginalized or the deplorable, by their standard, people cannot be armed. You can be a white nationalist. You can hate blacks. You can hate the Jew. You can hate whatever you want to. You have the right to do that. But don't be so ignorant to buy into rhetoric like Donald Trump. Don't be so ignorant to let your bias towards a color of a person's skin allow these assholes to take the very right that you're fighting for from you, because it ain't us. I can't name one Cripper blood that right now give a fuck about you having your rifle. We want a rifle. We give a fuck if you got a rifle. But you are so ignorant and blinded by your biasness based on the color of a person's skin or their preference or who they fucking at night that you put idiots in place that will impose on your rights. Then the light bulb goes off. Oh, I'm not rich. I'm not. No, you're just white. You're not rich. Not every white person in America is rich. You're not rich. Now they want your arsenal. You might have tattoos. You might have a prison record. I don't give a fuck that you got a prison record. They do. You don't like me. I might not necessarily not like you, but I see you as a combatant and I don't give a fuck about you. Stay your ass over there. I stay my ass over here. But if you wake up and you willing to step aside of your biasness for a second, then maybe we can work together and have the government conform to us instead of the other way around. And you can operate under the true constitutional rights that you were born with according to the standard of the American curriculum or whatever agenda. And that's the poverty perspective. This has been another great episode to me of BUB-IT, the Outcast, the Outcast, the
Really?
Oddcast, excuse me. BUB-IT,
Get it together.
yeah. Well, the Gorilla Glue. Fuck it. This is BUB-IT, the Oddcast. It's an Oddcast, bitch. Thank you for listening. For those who will listen this evening, all you Earthlings, fuck off and have peace, brother Plex. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. This has been a great episode. This will come up pretty soon. Probably have it up tomorrow or at least this weekend.
Okay.
We doing this on a Friday, so
We're gonna do it until we get it right, until we fix a hard day, a hard session day to do it.
Yeah, right
And
now we just
also,
bubbing it as we bub it.
bub it as we bub it. And I would like to also say, in the great words of one of the SoCal, maybe ghettos all over America, but the story was originally based on Los Angeles, excuse me. One of our great icons, is a fictional icon, but in the words of the great O-Dog from Minister Society, won't you wash your feet with you stinking asses?
And on that note, I'm gonna end with the a character that a great comedian that I admire, Mr. Dave Chappelle, from his Chappelle Show. White power.
You son of a bitch, I was in heaven. All right, my nigga, till next time.
But next time, this has been an episode of BUB-IT, the Oddcast. Thank you for joining in. And yeah.
Fuck off.
2 times. All right, so